zaczynamy? Nocna zmiana. Okej. Ojejku. Zapomniałam wrzucić linka. Okej. Lecimy. Zasłona cienia. Niektórzy wrogowie, tacy jak ślepi, skaleczyka. Gaza, nadzieja. Wyczują twoją obecność, kiedy będziesz korzystać. TG Brzt. Okej. Jak gra chodzi? Płynnie, nie płynnie, tnie się, nie tnie się. Dobra, widzę spore opóźnienie. Co my tu mamy? Punkty były rozdzielane, nie ma co przydzielić. Wróćmy. Tu mamy drzwi. Cześć, Pixel!
It's locked.
Dzięki!
Hurry now, Doctor. It's...
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
Sorry, there's nothing here.
Some of the patients won't last the night without them. Honestly, sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
Ale widzę, że nawet jakoś płynnie chodzi ten live.
Certain household chemical products can be used.
Może się uda, nie tak jak ostatnio.
Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital.
O, mamy
A small
klucz.
door at the end of a narrow street. On
Do
my way then.
kostnicy. Brrr. No ja chcę z tobą jeszcze pogadać. Gdzie uciekasz, kobito?
Yes, doctor?
Exactly how bad is the supply situation here at Pembroke?
It really depends. Dr. Swansea deftly works his society contacts for monies, but with the quarantine, well, we're in God's hands.
Why then do you always work the nights? Don't you ever sleep?
At At the Pembroke, we're always hands on deck.
Lack of sleep and the medical profession always ends in disaster. I've witnessed many a colleague succumb to stimulants to fight exhaustion. Drugs were as deadly as bullets in the trenches.
London's trenches start here at Pembroke Hospital. We are on the front line, make no mistake.
Your dedication to the Pembroke does you credit, Nurse Crane, but when
Jak
do
dla
you
mnie największa wada tej
We
gry
staff get our sleep
brak
when we
polskiego
can,
lektora.
Nursing is a vocation, not the labor of a journeyman.
Please, could you point me in the direction of the morgue again?
It's the large boarded-up building behind the hospital. You can't miss it. The key I gave you will open the small back door to it.
That's all for now, Nurse Crane. Thank
Dobrze,
you.
pogadaliśmy. Możemy połazić dalej. Te są zablokowane. Lekarze. Bądź mądry i się nie pogub. Piła chirurgiczna. Dokumentacja. Coś jeszcze tu mamy? Dobra, może w tych szafkach coś będzie. O, dobra. Butelka ginu. No, ciekawe do czego. Chyba do dezynfekcji tylko. Tych nie otworzę. Czy jest tu gdzieś mapa? Żebym jeszcze wiedziała, jak się poruszać po budynku. Ech. Nie teraz. To zamknięte. No dobra, zejdźmy na dół. To piętro mamy zbadane. Coś tu brak leków. Szafka zamknięta, ale ta otwarta. Jakiś list kolejny. Cześć, Luluś! Dobra, nie ma problemu. Gdzieś w tamtą stronę trzeba iść. Aj, kto postawił tu ten płot? Że ono mi przeszkadza.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
Serio? Ja mam tam wejść. No. No, że obróć mi tą kamerę. No dwóch. Rusz się, rusz się. Nie. Cześć, Agitos. Właśnie trafiłeś na mój pogrzeb. Ta szafka już będzie pusta? Co ona tu szuka?
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position at this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious.
Standardowa
The flu is wreaking
pogawędka.
havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe
6
that.
osób ze mną?
But what
Wow.
if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
No, żeś zaskoczy.
How long have you been a nurse?
Or long enough
Cześć,
to see that
Kasiu.
the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation.
Jak wam dzionek mija?
Whether he deserved it or not.
O, nowa wskazówka. Super. Czyli śmierć się na coś przydała. Nie mam informacji, tu pewnie też nie mam. Okej. Dziękujemy, żegnamy.
Nurse Hawkins.
A reklamy? Dobra, klawiatura, chodź tu szybciej. No, czyli to jest już... Czyli czas się stąd wydostać na zewnątrz. A mogę sobie z siostrą pogadać?
Yes, Doctor?
A, to ta.
That's all for now,
Dzięki.
Nurse Crane. Thank you.
Lecimy dalej. No, kamero, współpracuj. Lecimy na zewnątrz. Może jeszcze z nią się uda. Nie znam.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never
Nienormalna?
forget that you met Thelma Howcroft.
You
Czy
keep
wampir?
calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Ha. Ona wampirzycą?
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can
Dziwna ta rozmowa.
body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard.
Zaburzenie
The affected
psychiczne?
patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you
Żyje
think
ktoś
it
na
is
tym
I
czacie?
who am delusional.
Czy mam po prostu grać, nie zwracać uwagi na czat?
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover to hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Nowe śledztwo. Ups.
Who
Okej.
are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Dobra.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
To sobie pogadaliśmy. Nie w tą stronę. Idziemy znów do złych ziomków. Ale w dobrą stronę też poszłam? Chyba nie. Nie tędy szłam. Hello! Ja idę. Jak zwykle pobłądziłam,
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
No nie mówcie. Głos musi być. Kurczę, no.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss.
A na telefonie
I
dobrze
just
słychać
escaped
w
death
ogóle?
in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain,
Bo
sir.
gra płynnie chodzi z tego co
The drugs don't
widzę, ale
work.
no jak problem z głosem
It
to
just hurts
mówcie.
under the scars.
Może coś
If you
pokombinujemy
get my
razem.
drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've
Ja
learned it's
ogólnie miałam
easier not
problem
to
z
speak,
odpaleniem live'a, bo wyszło, że mi
but
klucz
be assured
strumieniowy
I'm
zmienili.
smiling inside.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense.
Agitos i co, teraz
was
wszystko
pushing too
okej?
I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Kasia, to co podgłośnić na grze? Tylko jak coś to mów które.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she
No
treats
dobra, no
me
to
like
podgłośnię
something
tutaj na
tasty.
tym.
A normal
Na
person.
grze.
Aren't you afraid?
Sobie tylko swoją głośność przyciszę, a dam na grze głośniej. Dźwięk. No dźwięk, dźwięk, dźwięk.
My mother had a beautiful, soothing voice.
Dobra, zaraz zobaczymy.
She may hurt you
Coś
if the
lepiej
game
słychać?
goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patience.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could,
Szkoda tylko,
I'd
że szybciej
join
nie
her world.
powiedzieliście, że słabo
It
słychać.
seems much more fun than the real one.
To było i osobiste też były wszystkie. Dobra. Żegnamy.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Damn,
I have wasted too
The
much
pain.
energy for so little results.
here again.
Panie, z tobą się da pogadać? No nie śpi. Co to za spanie?
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Z tobą jeszcze nie gadałam.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The
Teraz nie
situation has
słabo
always
słychać.
been tough, with a lot of tensions
Hey.
between the gangs and the dockers threatening.
Moment, OBS. OBS. Melduj się. Lepiej? Houston, Houston, jak mnie słychać? Lepiej, gorzej? Nie słychać wcale? No chyba, że mam przyciszyć coś. Dobra. To wracamy znowu do gry. Może już wszystkie problemy techniczne za nami?
Union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Who leads the gang now?
Since
W
Clay
razie
Cox
czego
went
trzeba
missing,
będzie
it's his wife
ogarnąć
Edwina who
lepszy
runs the show,
mikrofon,
with the assistance of her
jeżeli
minion,
na tym
Duke
kiepsko
Digby.
słychać.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Dobra.
Do you know
Pewnie.
Tom Watts? The bartender from the Turtle.
Ojku.
I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town?
Może on skończy gadać?
Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Tu wszystko? Wróć. A, osobiste jeszcze.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange
Tam było
question, Doctor.
nazwisko Bishop?
A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually.
Ile godzin będę grała,
William drank so much of my blood in his
żeby
madness.
skończyć?
I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke. Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Dobra, wszystko. To. Żegnamy, reklamy.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Spadamy dalej.
We'll talk again later.
Dobra, z nim gadaliśmy. Tu nic nie mamy. Nic mi nie świeci. Że znajdźmy wyjście stąd teraz. Tu nie byliśmy, to już widzę. Butelki, na co mi butelki? Tu rozwalone. Idziemy do drzwi. Open. To chyba tędy. Dobra, sprawdźmy na mapie. Niby jestem przy tym. Aha, tak, tu jest zapis, a ja poszłam wtedy na tamtych. Czyli mój błąd był. Gdzie my jesteśmy? Boże, jak on straszy. Szklana fiolka. Czemu ja mam wrażenie, że zaraz ktoś mi gdzieś wyskoczy i trzeba będzie się tłuc, co mi to za dobrze nie idzie. I... okej. Coś fajczy. Otwieram drzwi. No dobrze, że to nie jest horror. Gdzieś coś stuka. Proszę, niech ktoś mnie pocieszy, że nie będę musiała się bić. O ile w ogóle ktoś to ogląda. Okej, otwórz. Cały czas mam wrażenie, że ktoś mi się tu kurczę kręci. Tu nie mogę zejść. Idziemy na górę. Aha. Mówiłam, że ktoś tu będzie. No gin!
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
Jeszcze jedno ciało. Ale ta drabina była wytrzymała. A to potrzebuję. To zamknięte. Puk, puk. No dobra. Tu nikogo nie widzę.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Niestety piwnica przed nami. Ła! Jezu! No bij go! Ja pierniczę, jak się wystraszyłam.
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But They do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Cześć. Nie, chcę rozwalić. Dobra, zwiedźmy jeszcze górę. Tu jesteśmy. To ostatnie piętro. Te są zablokowane. Te też. Lecimy do piwnicy. Niech mnie ktoś trzyma, żebym na zawał nie padła. O Jezu! Gdzie to jest straszydło? Boję się. Kuźwa, ile ich tu jest?
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not our blood.
Ła! To bolało! No, gin. Gdzieś był drugi. Dlaczego ja tu weszłam? A masz? Jezu, jeszcze jeden? Nie, 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 nie! Kurde no! Gdzie? Nie! Złych wampirów się boję. Aha. I to znów będę miała dwóch do zabicia? Gdzie? Kto to wymyślił? No, dalej walcz! No co za oszołom! Ty jeszcze żyjesz? Cześć, lordzik. Ja nic nie poradzę za opóźnienie. Chyba. Na pewno aż tak się nie znam, żeby coś zadziałać. O Jezu, tu trzeba wejść. Agitos, tylko powiedz mi, co ja mogę zrobić? Ja nie jestem specem komputerowym. Bójmy się. Nie ma żadnego? No, zamknęli.
It's locked, all right.
Wiesz, boję się, bo nie lubię, jak coś mi nagle wyskakuje, czego nie jestem, na co nie jestem przygotowana. A wiem, że moje umiejętności walki są beznadziejne. Okej, czyli tak, to już wszystko. Czemu te drzwi nie zostają otwarte? Tego nie rozumiem. Nikogo nie widzę. No, orzesz w mordę. Nie, ja to przegram, mówię wam. No, żeż rusz się! Ej! Niech mi ktoś da cierpliwość. Crazy? Uj. Jezu, za każdym razem będę się tu tepać. Rusz się, bo zginiesz. Ginąć to ja potrafię. Crazy, gdybym wiedziała jak. No gdzie? Czy ja to dzisiaj przejdę? na mnie powiedział. To raczej nie jest. Coś mnie śmigło? Czy ja mam halucynację już? Bale na oślep. No, rusz tyłek dalej. No i zaś mi się do szyi rzucił. Nie! Pierdliwe gówno. Wypadałoby poczekać, aż mi się życie chyba odnowi, co? No, jeszcze coś wzięliśmy.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this.
Nie, tu wejdziemy. Gdzie ty jesteś? Co tak szybko? Chcę się pobawić. Dobra, tu byliśmy, to idziemy dalej. Aha, tu jest ten czort. Trzymajcie kciuki. Dziabnij go, dziabnij! Dalej, dalej, dalej! Śmigło gadżeta. Gdzieś mi zwiał, no? Nie daj się, zabij go! Kurde, jego cień mnie atakuje czy tu? No dalej! Kurde, no... Nie! Przecież ja tego nie przejdę. Które już podejście ktoś liczy? Ej! Rusz się! No, nie! Mnie nie może zabić! Wiesz, ciężka jest koordynacja ekran, klawisze. I serio, ja bym ci dała, byś se spróbował pograć. Jak pijesz tamten wcześniej, to jest dobre. No sio! No jazda! Nie daj się, no! Wyjdź stąd. Ja pierniczę. Ciężko znać na pamięć po takiej długiej przerwie. Coś tu było, czy mi się wydawało? pozabierane. Dobra. Kasia, bo jest z czego się pośmiać, co? Dobra. Trzymać kciuki. Musimy to wygrać. Nie wiem jakim cudem, ale musimy. On jakby ma kopię, kurde, siebie. Przeżyła?
Skulls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Ja w to nie dowierzam.
Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Ja naprawdę to zrobiłam. Tak. Pozestawiane, czyli skokiem. Jesteście dumni z mojego osiągnięcia, czy nie? Czy uważacie, że to nic wielkiego? Patrzyłam. Bo dla mnie najgorsze jest, jak trzeba ugryźć. I ja wtedy nigdy nie wiem, gdzie jest F. Bo za daleko. No dobra, to teraz gdzie ja mam iść? Jeszcze tu mamy nocną zmianę. Tu coś w kryjówce. Nie no, nie kryjówka, nocna zmiana. Znajdź w ogrodzie zgubiony portfel, okej. Trzeba by było się stąd ewakuować. Nic tu więcej nie mamy. Chyba że kolegów znajdziemy. Znowu jakiś. Oby nie. No mówiłam? Kurde, bo się cofam. O, tam kolejny. Aż dwóch? No, co jest? Rusz się. Te wampiry to jak szarańcza. Wszędzie ich pełno. Dobra, podleczyłam się. Idźmy tędy. Aha, ogród jest za winklem tam. Okej, wejdźmy. Choć pewnie będę żałować. Szpital. O nie. Do ogrodu idziemy. To mi mryga? Pewnie. Ogłoszenie publiczne. Jak przed Hiszpanką się obronić? Powodzenia? Jak to nie Hiszpanka? Śmierć mi nie straszna. Mówię wam, któryś raz z kolei ginę tu i tam. Tu jest kwarantanna, dzięki. O, mamo. Przetrwałam. Co to za dźwięki? Ale zdjęcie. Ja i mam talent. Bez żartów, poproszę.
Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
Dzięki. Śpiewam tu, śpiewam tam. A ludzie dość już mają mnie. Okej, czyli mogłam przejść w kółko tutaj. A tu jeszcze jakiś? I... Ej, no jak to tak? Aż pazurkami. Specjalnie oszczłam dzisiaj pazurki. Jak zwykle ja się gubię. Moment, jeszcze sprawdźmy na mapie. Tu, ale tu coś jeszcze, nocna zmiana. Tam trzeba by było się udać. Aha, do środka lecimy. Dalej zamknięta.
Don't worry, sir. Everything's going to be fine. I'm just going to go and get some.
Mamy znaleźć Dorothy. Tu raczej jej nie ma. Nie widzę jej.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
O,
Tell
nam
me,
się
Thelma,
ugotowało.
why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Okej.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Oj, znowu uda się. Dobra, jakieś wskazówki nam kolejne dają. Dobra, tam to było, to żegnamy.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
The pain. It's here again.
Pogadajmy jeszcze
Good
chwilę.
evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Dobra, tu potrzebna wskazówka. Tu już nie ma nic.
Goodbye for
Znowu
now,
nie ma.
Mr.
Dobra,
Elwood.
lecimy dalej.
Discussed on every street corner.
Idźże.
The daily routine.
U niego będzie coś nowego?
Hello again,
Czy nie
Dr. Reed.
bardzo?
I feel better.
Chyba nie bardzo. No dobra, to lecimy dalej.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Damn,
Już cały czas mam problem z kamerą.
it's here again.
Here in the first place.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good.
Nie. Tu nic. No to gdzie jest
Goodbye,
ta
Nurse
nasza zguba?
Street corner. The daily routine.
Dorothy, where are you? No idźże. Zamknięte. Coś mi tu świeci? A, zablokowane. Aha, jesteśmy w kryjówce. Dobra, punkt rozdzielny. Już tu jesteśmy. Dobra, co my tu mamy? Daj mi punkty. I tu od razu. Szło. Zostało nam 730. 1000 punktów. Oj, zmarnowałam. Trzeba zebrać znowu 1000. A włócznia też 1000. Ajajajajajajaj. Pazurów na drugim nie mamy odblokowanych. Dobra, potwierdź. $1300, kolejne leczenie. Boże, drogie to. Są jeszcze chętni oglądać?
The flower's dying.
A
It
skąd
needs
mam
water.
wziąć wodę? Wiem, że za podlanie kwiatka osiągnięcie jest, ale jak je zdobyć, nie mam pojęcia. Wejdźmy na górę może. Nie da rady. Oj. Drugie schody też przyblokowane. Oczywiście. Dobrze. To dalej gramy. Jak są chętni oglądać jeszcze. Ty, lekarzu. Okej. Z tobą pewnie nie gadałam. No stójże.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be
O,
colleagues.
i
Reed?
kulka
Yes,
się
I've been informed
pojawiła.
about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swans's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become...
Luluś, już zaczynasz.
Carelessness. Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation.
Mam
They're
rozumieć,
here
że
to
się
be healed.
stęskniłeś
I
za
don't
Kasią?
intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon. And it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative, it is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
Czyli tak, nic już sobie nie pogadamy. Przy nim były ścieżki wyboru. I teraz pytanie, czy dobrze dałam? Sobie z panią nie pogadam? A z tobą panie gadałam chyba przed chwilą.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Tak, z tobą gadałam.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Jakiś taki szczurkowaty on jest.
I'm so tired. Will this shift never end?
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work
Luluś,
with Dr.
ale jak
Swansea.
chcesz Kasię, no to
With your arrival,
jak
I
chcesz ją
can't think of a better
sprzedawać?
opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Okay.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me.
Ten
I am
eksperymenty
honored to have
robi?
the opportunity to work by your side.
Okej.
I'll give you some advice, but understand that nothing beats practical experience, which can be exhausting and solitary work.
Of course, sir. And don't worry, I will never allow myself to be a burden, neither to you nor this hospital.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just
A to
theories
jest
and
tak
first
jakby
approach.
trochę,
My process is purely
wczorajszy.
experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't
Cześć,
fail.
Szajba!
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded.
Szajba, co u ciebie?
Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work
A
together?
u mnie
I believe that
dobrze.
if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion
Jak
process,
widać,
he would be the first to
live'a
recommend its
robię.
use.
So you
To już
believe
od
it's
dłuższego
just a
czasu.
question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not
Ale ja już
treated correctly.
odpowiedziałam, teraz ty.
I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr.
Ze
Fiddick's
szkoły?
story.
O mamo. Nie zazdroszczę.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Numery osobiste były. Reszta to ze
Goodbye, Dr.
wskazówkami.
Strickland.
Dobra, jeszcze z kimś tu możemy pogadać. Pani, dla ciebie mam coś.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Szczur w
I will not
szpitalu.
let you down, my boy.
Good evening, sir.
Dobra, tam sobie pójdę zaraz. Coś mamy? Sobie z panem pogadam.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Szajbaty w weekendy, czy tak po prostu masz od poniedziałku do soboty lekcje? A też dzisiaj kupiłam grejpfrucika.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
Dobra, a teraz osobiste.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless
Ja już
enough
z
to hurt
waszymi
myself.
miłostkami nie nadążam.
Well, no,
Kto z kim, co, jak. Szybko się zmienia.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their
Kasia,
mother?
może
They were
Luluś
smaller
w końcu przejrzy na oczy
The only good thing about this is my Helen
i
didn't bring them
zrozumie
with her that night.
swoją głupotę. Osobiste mamy. Życie w to. Dobra, wszystko
Goodbye
mamy
for
z
now,
nim.
Mr. Fiddick.
To idziemy do
I'll
tego,
see you
co
later.
jest zadanie.
Sweet girl. Reads me like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
Panie, idę do ciebie.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Jasne. Bo ci Rosjanie coś dadzą.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So
On nie
painful
chce
I'd
gadać,
rather
ale
not
ja
talk
chcę
at all,
gadać.
Doctor.
Niech się streszcza. Nie dam ci odpocząć, facet.
I'll let you get some rest then.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Tyle było z twojego odpoczynku. Pytania osobiste.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
O, pani?
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the
Moim
expenses.
chłopcem.
That's
Boże, jakby
all
to
that
było
matters.
dwuletnie dziecko.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Kasia, chciałabyś się u niej uczyć?
Are you really that rich?
Bo ja nie.
Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband.
Trochę przypomina tą
I can
dyrektorkę z
cover any
Matyldy.
needed medical expenses.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived, but we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, And I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Dobra. To same wskazówki są potrzebne.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Może z nim się uda.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Helen. As for
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
Coś się da radę
How are you?
pogadać?
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to Hellenbach to help me.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Dobra. Tu nic nie mamy.
I have to go
Może
now,
znowu
sir.
się uda coś u niej.
But don't hesitate to contact
Zablokowało.
me if you need any help.
I'm all right.
Ale kobieta mi się nie podoba. To jest pewne.
Good evening.
Nic nowego. Nic nowego. Idziemy.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Co my tu mamy? Z Edgarem. I odnieść portfel jego właścicielowi. Kto jest
I will
właścicielem
not let you
portfela?
down, my boy.
We may lack the resources, but we have some of the most brilliant minds in London at Pembroke.
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
What can you tell me about our patients here at
Pytanka?
Pembroke?
This hospital was founded to help the East End poor and needy. But since the war and the quarantine, we've had all manner of folk.
Can you be more specific?
Well, veterans, the elderly, dock workers. We even have a few mental patients. If there's space, we take them.
What can you tell me about the epidemic, Nurse Crane? I've been out of touch since I've come back to England.
Everyday folk don't know how bad it is. The papers certainly won't tell them.
Agitos gdzieś nam
Not as long as
zaginął
the war
w
is raging on
walce.
anyway.
News on the front stated that the Spanish flu was under control, at least in Britain.
It seemed to be for a while, but that was only last summer. It returned with a vengeance just over a month ago.
For how long have you been working here, Nurse Crane?
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911, a few months after Dr. Swansea was appointed.
And before you arrived here?
If you must know, this was my first job.
Well, Dr. Swansea certainly has confidence in your abilities. Are you in charge of the nursing staff?
Not in an official capacity, but the Pembroke doesn't always work above board, so to speak.
How is the duty roster organized?
Everybody works until they can't. If there's time, they'll eat a meal and shed a
No
silent tear.
niestety, Kasiu, czas szybko leci. Cały tydzień czeka się na weekend, a weekend chwila, moment i znika.
What about medical protocols?
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money and resources here at the Pembroke like they do in the West End. We do what we can.
I'll see you later, Nurse Crane.
Piękny fartuch. Jak u rzeźnika.
We may lack the resources, but we have some of the most brilliant minds in London at Pembroke.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
Nic nie mam nowego.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
No przesuń się, koleś.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Po oparzeniach. Nic nie ma. Nic nowego. Dobra, lecimy dalej.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Nie chcę z tym gadać.
Down. The pain. It's here again.
Ona
Good
zgubiła
evening, Miss
portfel?
Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reed. Blood is the only drug I need.
Stan zdrowy.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
A, to ja może na tamtym miałam to zrobić.
I'm so tired. Will this shift never end?
No tak, oczywiście już zgubiłam drogę.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
I'm all right, considering the state of it.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me,
How can we be sure we're making a difference?
Gdzie ten koleś jest? Tu. O, baba wstała.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
Zmęczenie, środek na zmęczenie. Ale jak mam mu to dać?
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
Dobra. Podaj lekarza.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
Dobra. Odzyskuję zdrowie.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give him
Don't
the
waste your
benefit of
time
the
with
doubt.
me.
Good evening, Doctor.
Ta jest zdrowa. Żegnamy wiedźmę.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
So many deaths.
I will not let you down, my boy.
How can we be sure we're making a difference?
Here again.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Tu nic nie mam.
Goodbye,
Żegnamy.
Nurse Hawkins.
A gdzie jest tamta? Tu była?